Review code provided by Squidlet Inc. Super Squidlet is the sequel to the monochromatic Game Boy styled Squidlet, which I have reviewed on this channel. Now, Plip has gotten special eye drops and can see the world in colour. Game Boy Color, that is. Turns out that Squitsquat, God Emperor's potion, was preventing a great evil from befouling the land, and now you must make up for your error by helping throughout the world. Along with Plip's usual double jump ink attack, there's now a dash option that works both as a dodge and bumps some enemies. It especially makes for some interesting platforming as you gradually climb up by dashing yourself off of walls, and is often used in the boss fights. Going underwater requires a different aim and takes away your dash, so while it's not unwelcome, it is a tad trickier. I'd say the game is just a bit harder than the original, though many would prefer it that way. The levels are larger than Squidlet, and have a greater element of exploration as there are hidden rooms, buttons, and scrolls to collect. The scrolls give you details about the world of Squishu from Squitsquat, God Emperor's perspective, and you can exchange buttons for recipes. Another major addition is the ability to save. Well, in select locations, and unfortunately not always in a place I'd like to stop the game at. That said, the game is only 4 hours long, so it's not too much of a hassle. Throughout these levels there will be sections where you play as Squitsquat, God Emperor, in old school style FPS segments. I have to be honest, I flat out hated these. For one, it's very disorienting as the walls look the same and it's hard to tell if you're hitting an enemy without locking onto them. One of these segments rested your forward movement away from you, only allowing you to look left and right and stopping you in front of foes. I let someone more experienced with old style shooters try these parts out, and they complained about only being able to somewhat avoid attacks, but found it got easier later. Personally, I find these sections don't mesh quite as well as the shoot 'em ups part. As Squitsquat God Emperor, you gain skill points that can be added to your magic spells to increase their effectiveness, and it is largely forgiving as every room is a checkpoint, same as in the platforming segment, but this absolutely kills replayability for me as I have no desire to do these sections ever again. The music of the game is good and authentic to the Game Boy Color, but I'm not really a person who listens to that sort of music outside of a game. However, it works well and I love it when you talk to the band members in town because whichever one you interrupted stops their instrument from being played in the background. As I've said, visually, it takes after a Game Boy Color game, and now I can see what colours some of the creatures are from the first game. They stand out a lot more, but are still just as cute. There are border options with a few different colours, or you can leave it black as the game does not fill up the whole screen. The funny dialogue and animations are still present in this entry, such as Muffins getting juiced, or being forced to watch the introduction again with rude commentary if you refuse to help out. Now, during my playthrough there were some pretty big bugs, but I have reported them and they are getting fixed. It will just take a little while for that to happen on console. At first, Super Squidlet seems a worthy successor to the original, with a larger world, more colours, and a new move. Sadly for myself, I can't stand the Squitsquat God Emperor's segments that are forced into the game and make me like it less than the original despite being better everywhere else. Others may not be as affected by this as I felt, and in that case are much more likely to be happy with the game, which does make it a little hard to review. Still, I give Super Squidlet a 7 out of 10. Bye!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.